Welcome back to Reds Fusion LFC, your ultimate hub for everything Liverpool. Today we've got huge transfer drama brewing. Liverpool are pushing for Alexander Isak, Rodrigo updates are flying in, and Ben Doak's 25-meter exit has finally been sealed. Stay tuned, because this is a massive 24 hours in the Reds transfer saga. You don't want to miss a second of it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to stay updated with every twist and turn in the transfer window. 9W. Liverpool and Alexander Isak enter vital 24 hours as Newcastle transfer crucial. Newcastle are in the market for a new striker and have identified Brentford's Yoane Wissa as a target, with the Magpies needing to replace Isak if he leaves for Liverpool. With just 2 weeks left in the summer transfer window, the next 24 hours could prove pivotal in resolving one of the Premier League's lingering transfer dramas. It comes as Newcastle could face backlash over its Alexander Isak plans. Liverpool has been keen to bring Alexander Isak over from Newcastle, having already had one offer rejected, but now it all hinges on Newcastle's own transfer ambitions as they hunt for a replacement. If Liverpool is to secure Isak, it may well need to fork out more than the $157 million Premier League record that persuaded Bayer Leverkusen to let Florian Wirtz go. Newcastle omitted Isak from their squad for Saturday's match against Aston Villa amid signs he has declined to play for the club, but a goalless draw underscored their need for a striker, whether that means retaining the Swede or splashing out to compensate for the loss of last season's top scorer. Brentford's Yoane Wissa is among those being considered by Eddie Howe's team, and he too was absent from the weekend's fixtures. Earlier in the window, it seemed a 35 meters, 47-point Tiram bid might be sufficient to secure the Congolese international, but the Mail suggests that the asking price has risen to at least 50 meters, 67.5 dollars. Newcastle could conclude the window with two new strikers, having already let Callum Wilson depart for free. Goncalo Ramos, who netted for Paris Saint-Germain in the Super Cup, is another possibility. The future of Isak is thought to hinge on the Wissa deal. The same source suggests that failing to secure the 28-year-old could increase the likelihood of Isak remaining at St. James's Park, with the next 24 hours seen as pivotal. It's a difficult one to answer. Newcastle manager Eddie Howe told TNT Sports when questioned about the Isak situation, "I hope it's resolved quickly, because it's news around us all the time. Players have managed to shut that out and perform. We have to continue to do that. We have to cope without the narrative against us." Newcastle's upcoming game happens to be a home game against Liverpool. It's always spicy against Liverpool. There's a history to the fixture we look forward to. We know how good they are, added Howe. Arne Slot's reigning champions showed little need for additional firepower in their victory over Bournemouth on Friday, with 4 different players scoring. However, there's still a gap in the squad, with Luis Diaz and Darwin Núñez both leaving this summer to help the Reds raise funds for a potential Isak move. Federico Chiesa was among the scorers on Friday, netting his first Premier League goal, and Slot indicated that the Italian isn't going anywhere despite rumors of a summer departure. "As long as he is here, he is definitely at Liverpool, and I have no reason to believe something is going to change," said the manager. Liverpool receive huge Rodrigo transfer boost as update issued. Have decided. Liverpool have been linked with a move for Real Madrid star Rodrigo in the summer transfer window, and now an update has been issued in relation to the Brazilian. Liverpool have received a boost in their potential pursuit of Real Madrid forward Rodrigo. Spanish publication Marca have reported that Reds-linked Rodrigo became unhappy throughout the 2024-25 season. Despite featuring in 50 matches across all competitions with 38 starts, his role has been altered due to the high-profile acquisitions of Jude Bellingham and Kylian Mbappe, leading to tactical adjustments by then-manager Carlo Ancelotti. The Brazilian has since struggled for game under new real boss, former Liverpool player Xabi Alonso, at the recent Club World Cup, where he was left on the bench for half of their matches. The Guardian have recently claimed that Liverpool, along with their rivals Arsenal and Manchester City, are being attentive to the situation, prepared to swoop in if tensions heighten further over the summer. And Spanish football journalist Guillem Balag has claimed that City's Savinho will now stay at the Etihad Stadium despite being linked with a move to Tottenham Hotspur. He adds that this ends their pursuit of Rodrigo. Manchester City have decided Savinho is to stay, he said on X, formerly known as Twitter. That kills any possibility of Rodrigo joining City. Real Madrid did not get an offer for him, as it was depending on Savinho leaving. Meanwhile, Liverpool have undergone somewhat of a transformation in attack, with Luis Diaz moving to Bayern Munich and Hugo Ekitike joining from Eintracht Frankfurt this summer. In addition to Rodrigo, Alexander Isak continues to be linked with. A move to Anfield after a $110 million bid was turned down. The Newcastle United striker has since been left out of their Premier League opener against Aston Villa on Saturday and looks unlikely to feature against the Reds for Eddie Howe's side on Sunday. Alexander Isak interest has exposed transfer truth Liverpool must now negotiate. Liverpool could be dealing in uncharted transfer waters amid interest in Alexander Isak of Newcastle United and Crystal Palace's Mark Guehi. Forget last-minute winners, controversial officiating, or memorable trophy successes. For some supporters, nothing quite gets the blood pumping and heart racing as much as a transfer. Focus is inevitably concentrated on those coming through the door, with the excitement over new signings and fresh faces almost always exponentially greater than that of watching a player leave. There are, of course, some notable exceptions, such as the furore on Tyneside that continues to be sparked by want-away Newcastle United striker Alexander Isak and Liverpool's ongoing interest in the 25-year-old. Sales, though, generally just aren't as sexy as signings. But an ability to gain top dollar for players deemed surplus to requirements or who see their future elsewhere is almost as important a trait as the ability to recruit. And Liverpool, with sporting director Richard Hughes spearheading transfer business, are once again underlining they are among the market leaders in generating income. The latest such move is that of 19-year-old winger Ben Doak, who is joining Bournemouth for $25 million. Doak had cost $600,000 from Celtic 3 years ago and ultimately made only 10 senior appearances for the Reds, only 4 of which were as a starter, with the last coming way back in December 2023. Not including add-ons, the exit will take the money recouped by Liverpool beyond the 200 meters mark for the summer, with Trent Alexander-Arnold, Coweeman Kelleher, Nat Phillips, Jarell Quansah, Luis Diaz, Tyler Morton, and Darwin Núñez having already departed. That goes some way to explaining why Arne Slot's side have been able to commit almost 300 millimeters on new players this summer, with more likely to spent before the September 1st transfer deadline, given the ongoing interest in Isak, as well as Crystal Palace centre-back Mark Guehi. Doak's departure would move the Reds almost on a par with Chelsea and Bournemouth regards most money raised from player sales by Premier League clubs during the ongoing transfer window. And in terms of net spend, Liverpool would be in the same region as Manchester City, Sunderland, and Newcastle, and have almost half the total of Manchester United and Arsenal, the duo who at present have by far the biggest overall outlay. Some clubs are better than others, than selling. Intriguing, then, is that Liverpool's immediate future is entwined among the top flight's least proficient in that regard. Arsenal, the Reds' nearest title rivals last season, are among them. True, the Gunners have improved in recent years, with some of their biggest sales being Emile Smith-Rowe, Folarin Balogun, and Eddie Nketiah. But it's remarkable to consider the most money they've ever received for a player remains the 35 meters from Liverpool to sign Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain almost 8 years ago. The Reds have sold 8 players for more. Newcastle's record exit isn't any higher, purportedly Elliot Anderson's move to Nottingham Forest last summer for around 35 millers, that it formed part of a player exchange deal with Odysseas Vlachodimos, though means the true value is open for debate, with Andy Carroll's exit to Liverpool for 35 millers in January 2011 arguably still their more lucrative departure. Since Liverpool won the Premier League in 2020, only 5 teams, Chelsea, Manchester, City, Brighton, Wolves, and Aston Villa, have raised more from player sales, with the Reds' net spend behind that of Chelsea and City, and of the teams to have remained in the Premier League throughout that period. The only one to have brought in less from player sales than Arsenal and Newcastle United is Crystal Palace. Maybe Newcastle and Palace drive too hard a bargain. Perhaps their players simply haven't been able to command sizable fees. But what's clear is both clubs aren't used to negotiating sales with the kind of amount Liverpool have been offering for Isak and Guehi, respectively. It adds another level of intrigue to the remaining weeks of the transfer window for the Reds. Alexander Isak transfer update issued amid Liverpool saga. You have to know the whole picture. Alexander Isak's proposed move to Liverpool failed to get off the ground, and the Swede is in a transfer standoff with current club Newcastle United as the window draws to an end. Sweden boss Jon Dahl Tomasson has warned people not to judge Alexander Isak too quickly and labeled the forward extremely professional. The Newcastle star missed the club's opening match of the season against Aston Villa as he pushes for a move to Liverpool. Isak has trained away from Newcastle's first team after missing the side's pre-season tour of Asia and appears to have indicated he will not feature for the club again. Eddie Howe has left the door open to that possibility despite his charges' stance. Liverpool had a $110 million bid quickly turned down earlier in the summer and are ready to return for the player if offered encouragement from their Premier League rivals. Newcastle had earlier declared Isak not for sale, and reports have suggested they would like to see 2 strikers arrive before even countenancing a deal. Isak has come in for some criticism for his approach in attempting to force a move, and now his international manager Tomasson has spoken out in defense of his charge. The Sweden boss has already seen Viktor Gyökeres go on strike to facilitate a transfer this summer and has lent his support to Isak, who may now be fined. Tomasson believes critics should not speak out before knowing the full situation surrounding Isak's decision. He told Fotbollskanalen, "First of all, Alex is an extremely professional player, a fantastic character and personality. I have talked a lot with Alex during this period. Situations like this are quite complex. These are extremely complex environments that the players operate in. I'm sure it will work out in the end, but you have to know the whole picture before you draw conclusions. That's always a good tip. I don't think we know it, the whole picture. I don't know the whole picture either. It's quite normal because there's a lot of politics in a football club. But one thing is for sure. Alex is a great guy and very professional. We should all be very careful about drawing conclusions because we don't know the bigger picture." Tomasson will hope to have Isak available for Sweden's next World Cup qualifying matches against Slovenia and Kosovo as the nation attempts to make the tournament in the United States. Isak's preparation thus far has not been ideal, however. He added, "There is time. He is a professional and I know he has trained. Of course, he has not trained with a team and has not played matches. Let's wait and see. We will have a good talk. Alex and I, and hopefully he will be back in team training soon. Of course, we have thought about it. I want to have my best players available, and he is a fantastic player. But I can't see into the future. It's impossible." Liverpool sell Ben Doak in $25 million deal as Bournemouth finally agree. Transfer clause, Liverpool youngster Ben Doak has joined Bournemouth in a $25 million move, having made just 10 first-team appearances for the Premier League champions. But they've only allowed the deal to go through with a buyback clause inserted. Liverpool winger Ben Doak has completed his move to Bournemouth, but only after the Reds were handed a buyback clause. The Premier League champions were not willing to sell Doak unless this was included. The Scotland international has sealed a $25 million move to join Andoni Iraola's men, taking Liverpool's total sales this summer to a whopping $206 million, a figure that could potentially reach $210 million. Liverpool have already sold Luis Diaz, Darwin Núñez, Kauiman Kelleher, and Jarell Quansah this summer, while they also got 8 made orders from Real Madrid to allow Trent Alexander-Arnold leave a month before the end of his contract.